Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Chodesh Tov, Daf Yomi Masechet Zevachim, Daf Lamed Chet Amud 38:1. Says the Gemara, we were talking about over there to do a Sukkah. You remember we said Sukkah was written 2 times without a Vav and then 1 time with a Vav. So he said that it should make it that there should be 5 walls, right? So he comes and he says, Hatam there, Dal Chad Legufei, you need one of them for itself, which means that you need to know that you have a Sukkah itself. Chal Lesachicha, one of them is that Chashbon, that it's teaching you that you have to make schach for the sukkah, and therefore it comes out that there's only 3 of them. So therefore, so the halakha Moshe Misinai comes and it makes that the 3rd wall, even though technically you should have needed 3 full walls, because it was 5. But now that you need 3 full walls, so what's it going to teach you? He comes and he says, halakha Moshe Misinai teaches you that it's already going to be enough at tefach. So now we're going to ask the following question: now, when you say shivuaim, you could read it shivim, right? Because there's no vav there. So it looks like shivuaim, it looks like shivim. Now, so what's going on then? So ahani krav ani mesoret. So therefore, even if you're going to read it or you're going to write it, arbainu trem by lemitav. So therefore, the Yelulin Keva should sit at least arbainu shnayim on 42 days, because that's the memutza in between them. Meaning, if you're going to go in between, right, between whether it's going to be the shivuaim, which is the 2 weeks, or shivim is 70. So the middle between 70 and 2 weeks and 14 is how much? Huh? No. Yeah. What do we say? What's the middle between 70 and 2 weeks?
What's between 70
and 2 weeks? 14. No, but the middle between them. How much is between them? 70 and 14. Yesterday, how do we finish off yesterday? Yesterday we finished that there's a concept of mikra and masoret. Mikra is the way that it is in the Torah. Masoret is the way that we have a masoret. How do you read it? In the Torah, it's written basukot, basukot, basukot. Every time, how do you read it? With a vav. So it means how many sukots do you have? 6. 2, 4, 6. 3 times 2. Each one is plural. Very good. However, though the masoret, right, the mikra, is that one of the sukkots, the first 2 sukkots, are without vavs. So if you go 1, 2, and then the last one is with a vav, so that's 2. So 2 plus 2, 4. So you got 6 and 4. What's the medium? 5. Meaning you always go to the middle between the mikra and masoret. So you've got 5. So says the Gemara, so if you have the masoret and you have the mikra, you should have 5 walls. Answers the Gemara, this is how we started today's daf. No. You needed one of those. You've got 6, really, correct? Or whatever. You got the 5 of the medium, right? One of them you need for Sukkot itself, that you have to do a Sukkah. One of them you need for the schach on top of the Sukkah. So now, if I just took 5 and I got rid of 2, how much is left? 3. So technically speaking, you only need 3 walls. But you've got Hechal Moshe Misinai. And the Hechal Moshe Misinai tells you the 3rd wall is enough what? 1 tefach. So therefore, you need 2 walls and 1 wall, which is the 3rd wall, enough a tefach. Says the Gemara, I continue with the same concept. You've got Masoret Mikra, right, which is basically the Masoret, the way that we have a Masoret, how do you read it, the tradition, how do you read it, and Mikra, the way that it's written in the Torah. Now let's go to the next one. A woman comes and she gives birth to a girl. When a woman gives birth to a boy, how much is she Tmeah? No. No, you're in the Yemet Tohar. That's pure days. I'm talking about Tum'ah. Tum'ah for a boy is? 7. No, that's the total. The total for a girl is 80. Right? 14 is for a girl. Very good.
7.
For a girl. 7 is for a boy. 7, 1 week for a boy. That's why in the night of the Talamon, the night of the Brit Yitzchak, she goes to the mikveh, and by the Brit Milah, she's already Teorah. Right? And for a girl, it's double. It's always double. So 7, 14, 33, 66. Total is 40 and then 80. 40 for the boy, 80 for the girl. So you've got now 14 days of Tum'ah, impurity for a girl. A woman gives birth to a girl, 14 days impure. The Torah says, "V'tamea shivu'aim." Shivu'aim is 2 semaines. Yeah, 2 weeks. Shivu'aim. But the way that it's read in the Torah, meaning not the way that we read it, because we read it, right, Shivu'aim, but really, Be'emet, the way that it's written is Shivim. How much is Shivim? 70. So now 1 second. So what's the medium? So again, if I just took the other one, the medium, I had 4 and 6, so the medium is 5. Now I've got 70 and 14. The medium is? You have the sum. 42. 42. Yes.
Because you don't want to pronounce a word that is not nice.
No. No. Not at all. Many times you have a mikra masoret, the way that it's read and the way that it's written. Two different things. No. Which one? Because we had a tradition that's how it changes it. And therefore we have to learn from it. And that's what we're trying to do. So right now we have to try to understand.
That's it.
No, because so answers the Gemara. It's different over there. Dichtiv benidata, right? Kenidata. What does that mean? Since it says that it's going to be like a nida, we know that the kavanah is maximum going to be the 2 weeks. It's not going to be 70 days. So therefore, we already know, right? Because it doesn't make sense, basically, right? Now he says it's not really 100% equal because obviously a nida is only for 7 days. But if it's going to be shivlaim, which means 2 weeks, okay, it's close by, but you can't say that it means 70 days because there's no such thing as a 70-day nida. You understand? Meaning, what's more comparable, 14 days or 70 days to a nida? 14 days. So because of that, that's how we know that it's going to be like a nida. Okay, until here we're clear, everybody. Yeah. So now he says, "Vetana maitila mihacha." Now says, but the Tana of the Braita is going to bring him a code for Bet Hillel from somewhere else, where it says v'chiper alav hakohen, v'chiper alav hakohen, v'chiper alav hakohen. What does that mean exactly? V'chiper alav hakohen. So he says like this: it's going to teach you that even if the kohen is going to lack 3 out of the matanot, right? How many matanot do you have on the inside? How many matanda means? 4. Chazak baruch. You've got 4 sprinklings on all 4 corners.
Outside too.
Outside 2. Kol hakavod. Right, 2 which become 4. Kol hakavod. Kol hakavod. Yeah. So he comes and he says, now that it says v'chiper, so it comes to teach you that even if he came and he lacked 3 out of the 4, it's still going to be kosher, right? So therefore he says, it's coming to teach you mipnei adin, because of the din of a binyan av, that all the arba matanot which are going to be of a chatat chitzonim yekavot to the kapara. So valodinu says the Gemara, it's a kal vachomer. Nemnu damim lemata v'nemnu damim lemala. It says dam above and says dam below. What does that mean? You remember we said that there's a chuta sikra. What was the chuta sikra? Very good. The red line which was on the mizbeach, right, halfway up of the mizbeach, but it's going to be 1 amma underneath the amma sovev. So you have the amma sovev. What's the amma sovev? Hello, ma ze amma sovev? When you go up the ramp, halfway up the ramp, there's a side, how do you call it? Like a side ramp. And that side ramp takes you to the Amma Sovev. Amma Sovev goes around the entire altar. That's called Amma Sovev. So 1 Amma below that one, right? 1 Amma below it, you have what's called the Chuta Sikra. Right? Now, in the Chuta Sikra, here it is, look. This is the Amma Sovev. 1 Amma below is the Chuta Sikra. The red line. Let me get a better picture. Yeah, you could walk on it. Look, everyone, look. Here you have over here. Oops, sorry. Over here on the bottom, this is the Yesod. The Yesod is the bottom foundation. This is called the Amma Sovev, where you're able to come and you're able to walk on the side of the Mizbeach. Underneath the Amma Sovev, 1 Amma, you've got what's called the Chuta Sikra, the red line. The red line, that's where it's going to go upwards or downwards, where you sprinkle the korbanot upwards or downwards. Yeah? Here, look. No, I want a better picture. Why is it only showing me the back parts? Fine, I only see the bottom part. If you see over here, there are 2 ramps. When you're going up, this is the big, large ramp. There's 1 ramp over here going to the bottom, which is basically going to be, which is basically going to the Yesod on the bottom. But the truth is, if you take a picture of the actual Mizbeach, no, okay. Again, you have it over here. Over here, you see there are 2 ramps. There are 2 side ramps. 1 side ramps take you to the Amma Sovev, and the other side ramp takes you straight to the bottom, to the Yisod. Okay, everybody with me or not? I want it to be very clear. So he comes and he says like this. No, over there on the chair. Yeah, so he says like this. So he says, Valodinu, it's a kavachomen. Right, you've got damim lemata v'damim lemala. Ma matan damim amurim lemata. Shenatan matana achat kiper, it's going to be a kapara. After damim amurim lemala, shenatan matana achat, it's going to be a kapara. So he says, all klach lederech zo, go the other way around. Nemru damim, turn it off. Nemru damim bifnim, nemru damim bachutz. It says damim, the blood on the inside and the outside. Just like damim, which is going to be on the inside, you didn't do anything. So to damim on the outside, it's going to be you didn't do anything, which means like this. On the inside, right, we know that it's a chatata pnimit. On chatata pnimit, right, it's much more strict than the chataot on the outside. Chataot on the outside, you only have to do 2 matanot. Chataot on the inside, you have to do 4. So I would have thought to say that just like on the inside, if you lack on any of them, it's nothing, meaning that you didn't do anything. So the same thing, I mean, they're all me'akev. All 4 sprinklings are me'akev. So just like on the outside, all 4 are me'akev. So to the inside, everything's going to be me'akev. So it says the Gemara, nirele mi domeh. We're going to say, what is the outside chataot compared to more? Danin chutz mi chutz, ven danin chutz mi biftim. Ochlach lederezu, danin chatat arba kranot, ven chatat arba kranot, ve'al yochiach she'en chatat ve'arba kranot. He says like this, basically like this. I've got a chataot primiot and chataot chitzeniot. Certain chataot, they go on the outside. And certain chataot, they go on the inside. Remember, chatat is a sin offering. Certain ones go on the outside, certain ones go on the inside. The outside ones, obviously, you only need to do 2 matanot, which are 4. Right? You sprinkle on the 2 corners, they split, 2, which become 4. The inside one, you have to do on the 4 corners. Okay, fine. I want to come and I'm trying to learn about the outside chataot. And I'm trying to find out like this. Do I compare the chatat to a chatat? Now, even though one's inside and one's outside, but they're both chataot, so I compare the outside chataot to the inside chataot, just like the inside chataot, that they're not, it's going to be impeding each one of them, so too on the outside, it's going to impede. Or do I say, no, I only judge outside to outside, and inside is inside. They're both chataot, yeah, but everything's outside. So what is it more compared to? Do I compare the outside chatat to the outside services, or do I compare the chatat to another chatat? Okay, that's the question. אתה רוצה לחזור? Talmud Lomar, huh? Yeah. Talmud Lomar comes to teach you. V'chiper. Right? What does that mean? Right? Skip out the brackets. V'chiper אף על פי שלא נתן לה 3, v'chiper אף על פי שלא נתן לה 2, v'chiper אף על פי שלא נתן לה 1. When it tells you 3 times v'chiper, I gave you like not a refund. A reduction. I reduced it for you. V'chiper. It atones. So now if I got 3 times the chiper, you had to do 4 times. What did I do? I lowered it 1, 2, 3. I lowered it 3 times. This is a v'chiper. I've got 1 left. So because of every single word of v'chiper, that it's an atonement, even if you didn't do it, that's what we're trying to say. It's an atonement, even if you didn't do it. I gave you a reduction that instead of having 4 matanot, even if you only did 1, you yitzeh chova. Why? I learned it from the word v'chiper. Each v'chiper reduced one of those sprinklings that even if you didn't do the sprinkling, you're still v'chiper. You still get an atonement. Capish or not? Doctor? This is what the Torah is saying. Right? The Torah is saying. Right? Well, the Gemara is saying this from the Torah, that since it says v'chiper 3 times, this is what it is. So says the Gemara, v'haimi baile legufeh. He says, 1 second, but I needed it for itself. Why? Because I needed to know that it's actually going to atone. Right? That means it's not extra. Meaning like this. If I had an extra word, so you're right, the extra word is coming to teach you halacha. But if it's not extra, and it's teaching you that it's going to atone, the chiper, you're going to have a kapara. So what are you learning from that? What are you learning from that? You're not learning anything from that. So Amar Rava says, but Ada Mare Asberali, but Ada Mare, he came and he explained it to me. Amar Kar, the pasuk says, v'chiper v'nislach, zoi kapara v'zoi slicha. What does that mean, zoi kapara, zoi slicha? It means the kapara is in itself a slicha, right? And therefore he comes and he says, v'chiper was not needed, right? But it's actually teaching you on the actual kaparan itself. So therefore, since it already says v'chiper v'nislach, it's the same thing. Salam shos. Kaparan salicha. מה ההבדל? Right? זה אותו דבר. Yeah. So therefore, since it's אותו דבר, the word v'chiper is extra. And since the word v'chiper is extra, I can now learn what? That even if you didn't do it, it's still going to be okay. No, Carlo. He's shivering. Okay, put it up. No, I'm fine, by the way. It's for you. That's true. You're right. 100%. Okay, let's go. So he says, Eima v'chiper, af al pi shelo natan lo shalosh lemala v'achat lamata. He says, why don't I just say that v'chiper is coming to teach you that even though you only gave 3 lemala and 1 below, v'chiper av pi shelo natan lo shtayim lemata u'shtayim lemala, v'chiper av pi shelo natan lemala lemata. Meaning like this, why are you telling me that the word v'chiper is coming and taking off one of the numbers? Maybe it's only changing the place. I'm going to ask you a question, right? Laurent, which ones go on the top and which ones go on the bottom? Oh, I asked them a bomb.
Which one's one? Which
I gave you a siman already. You guys remember? I gave you a siman. Ein, ein, ein. I'll explain it even better. Olat, off, lemala. Ein, ein, ein. Olat, off, lemala. So that means olat be'ema, lemata. Chatat be'ema. It's always the opposite. Meaning like this. So one more time. If I say olata off lemala, so therefore chatat is chatat off, chatata be'ema is lemala. Right? And you understand what I did? One more time. I'm giving you one of the equations, but the second I give you one of the equations, it's always the opposite by the other one. So if I told you olata of lemala, chatata of lemata, the chatat of our bird is on the bottom. If you say the chatata bird is the bottom, so the chatat of the animal is on the top, and the olata is on the bottom, but it's always the opposite. Everyone understood what I just did?
By the same species.
By the same. So says the Gemara, Amar Ravid Al Bar Yitzchak, Im Ken so bitalta Torat Kranot. You already annulled the entire concept of the Kranot. Why? Because if it says according to you that it's going to be kosher, even if you didn't put it on the kranot at all, that was you put it on the bottom, how could it be? So says the Gemara, Virachman Amar li batzlun. So what if the Torah says v'chiper? So annul it. So what's the problem? So says the Gemara, Amar Rava says, Ezu davar shetzarich shalosh. Have omer elu kranot. If you need something that you only have 3, that's going to be the kranot. Right? Because obviously there's 4 kranot, so it's going to be 3 is the kranot. Eima v'chiper avbi shelo natan l'achal l'mala v'shelo shamata. So as the Gemara, maybe it's going to be v'chiper, even if you're going to put 1 above and 3 below. So it says lo matzinu dami. He says it doesn't exist such a concept that you have half above and half below. Meaning o kulam lemala o kulam lemata. Lo chetzi chetzi. And the is a chetzi chetzi. It's either up above or below. Where are you? You're above or below? That's the question. Velo, but now we learned in the Mishnah. Right? This is talking about what we say. We do say, and so the kimat sleeve, my kimat sleeve, machviru of Yehuda kimigdina. What is it? Kimlake. Meaning like this: when you're giving malkut arba'im, you come and you give it like balachson. So therefore, that was the same thing. That means you're basically going down, right? Like like this, right? You're going down. So he says, Hiza al tarosh mizbeach sheva pamim. So he says, but the Mishnah says that you're going to do it on the Mizbeach HaZahav 7 times. Right? La Milchet HaMubet. So he says, my love, are we not talking about a Pal Gede Mizbeach? On the half of the Mizbeach. What does that mean? Isn't it coming on the middle of the Mizbeach? Just like it says that, it's already half the day. Samar Rabbi no. Agiluye al gago Mizbeach. Tichtiv uchetz mashmaim la tohar. Right? Tohar, right? Tahara, right? Is mamash when it's barur. So ask the Gemara Vayika Shiraim, you have the Shiurei Adam. Shiurei Adam is leftovers of the blood. So he says Shiurim are not Me'akveh. The leftovers is not Me'akev. So ask the Gemara Vayika Shiraim Penimim, you have the inner ones, which is, so you could remember, there is Me'akveh. So he says, Bechad Makom Kamnina. That's all one place. So Tanya, we learned to the Braita, Belezer Yaakov, Bet Shammai Omrim, Bet Shammai says, Shtem Menozor Shebechatat, Achat Shebezevachim Matirot Umefaglot. When you have the 2 matanot of the dam of the Chatat, and the matanat dam Achat, and all the other ones, which are going to permit it, it's going to also be mifagel. That means according to Bet Hillel, it's 1 and 1, and according to Bet Shammai, it's 2 and 1. 2 by the chatat and one by the other korbanot. And according to Bet Hillel, it's 1-1. So Matkifla Rav Oshia asked him, "Ken, if so, right? Litne gabe kula bet shamayim." So this should be a kula of bet one of the kulot. Meaning, there's a mishnah that tells you all the machlokot between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. So this is a kula of Bet Shammai more than Bet Hillel. Why don't you teach it? So he says, Amaleh Rava says, Ki chil. When you ask this question, letera chil was over letera. Tavle Bet Shammai lechumra. Here it's lechumra, not lekula. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Shalosh matanot shebachataot enam bao balayla. The three of them, they cannot come in the nighttime. Ubao lachar mita, and they do come after death. V'ma'aleh mehem mechutz b'chayav. But if you take it outside of the zara, you're going to be chayav. Rav Papa says, yesh ben ketchilatov, yesh ben b'sof. Some of them is going to be at the beginning, some of them is going to be at the end. Chutz v'layla, zarut ukle sharet, kerem ve'etzma kibus v'shirayim ketchilatam. Meaning, the halacha that if you took it outside, nighttime, zarut is a zar, the stranger is going to bring it. Kle sharet, that it needs a kle sharet. Kerem ve'etzma, you have to do it on the corners, and also with the etzma. Kibus v'shirayim, washing, and the shirayim, the leftovers, it's like tchilatam, which means it's me'akev. However, though, mita la sharia, right? Mita, which is after death, or that it's not going to be permitting, or lo mefagel, or lo aylev gavai, that's not going to go inside. Kesofan is going to be like shirei dam, that it's not going to be me'akev. So Amar Rav Papa says, Menamin ala, how do I know this? The Tanam was learned in the Mishnah, nitaz min tzavar ala beged. What happens right now if blood came from the tzavar of the animal to the beged? Eno taum kibus. Mina keren yisod, but if it comes from the keren yisod, eno taum kibus. Hamina ra'ui le keren taum kibus. But if it is ra'ui to put on the keren, you do need to be kibus. You have to wash it. Litamech, according to your reasoning, mina yisod eno taum kibus. Hamina ra'ui le yisod taum kibus. Asher yazekti, but it's written asher yazeh prat lezeh shekvar uzat. This is already sprinkled. Meaning, if it was fitting to go there, it's going to be ma'akev. You have to do kibus. But if it already went there and then it went on your clothing, you don't have to wash your clothing again. Hamani was that of Nechemi. Tanya was learned from Mishnah Nechemi Omer. She'ereh Adam she'ktiva mechutz chayav. Any she'ereh Adam that you brought in the outside, you're going to be chayav. When do we learn this about to do with ha'ala'ah, which is taking it outside? Meaning the avarim, just like the avarim in the p'darim. But to do with kibbutz, do we ever hear it? And says yes. Tanya, just like we learned, tamim tunim lesot tunim kibbutz machshava mole bahen hamalem mechutz chayav. Right, but damim mishpachil hamav, it's going to be spilled to the hama. You don't need kibbutz. You don't machshava. It's not going to be ma'ale bahen. Ma'ale bahen is bechutz is going to be patur. Whoever learned to ma'ale bechutz is going to be chayav. It's a rechemna. The common, and he was the one that said ta'un kibbutz.